Hello everyone, this is Savannah Betkowski, Project Assistant at the Syracuse University Environmental Finance Center. On behalf of the Environmental Finance Center Network, I'd like to welcome you to our webinar entitled, Messaging Your Water to Your Stakeholders. To give you an idea of where others on the webinar are tuning in from, we have prepared this map. You can see that we have attendees spread all throughout the country. Thanks to you all for joining us today. And this session is one of several webinars conducted by the Environmental Finance Center Network for the Smart Management for Small Water Systems project. The EFCN provides training and technical assistance to small public water systems in all 50 states and 5 territories to help local water systems achieve and maintain compliance with the Safe Drinking Water Act. And here you can see the various centers that make up the Environmental Finance Center Network. You can see that we have centers spread all across the country. And here are the areas of expertise that the EFCN focuses on. Workshops, trainings, and direct technical assistance are provided on asset management, rate setting and fiscal planning, leadership through decision-making and communication, water loss reduction, energy management planning, accessing infrastructure financing programs, workforce development, water conservation, collaborating with other water systems, resiliency planning, and managing drought. The EFCN also provides a small systems blog. You can learn more about water finance and management through this blog. Blog posts feature lessons learned from our trainings and technical assistance, descriptions of available tools, and small systems success stories. You will have the opportunity to subscribe to this blog at the end of the webinar. In addition to workshops, direct technical assistance, and webinars, as part of the Smart Management for Small Water Systems project, we are also creating a table that lists the major funding sources for drinking water infrastructure project in each state and territory. Here's how you can access those tables. On the EFCN homepage, go to the Resources tab and then click on Funding Sources by State. This will take you to a map of the country. If you click on the state you're interested in, you will find a PDF table of relevant funding sources for that drinking water infrastructure in that state. The table looks like the image on the left hand of the slide. For each funding program, it includes the name of the program, a short description, and contact information for someone who works in the program. And at this point, I will turn the presentation over to our speaker for today. Today we have Sarah Diefendorf, Director of the Environmental Finance Center West. Sarah, welcome, and take it away.
Okay, thank you, Savannah. And you got into this battle and this whole side story of who's at fault. Okay, as opposed to we're all going to have to pitch in together. Shared responsibility. We all need to reduce our water use. Even the governor of California, someone as experienced as Jerry Brown, blew it. He lost control of his story and somebody else took control of it. Some people use shock. Okay, 46 days in hospital bed versus speed limit of 25. Slower is better. Some people stress core values. Okay, this was an effort in New York City to show people what it was the developing world, salmonella or yellow fever, and buy a bottle of dirty water. Okay, reaching out to the core values of fairness and of health and children and showing how it is other people live in the rest of the world. But what they all use, and the best messages that capture our attention and change our minds, use powerful visuals and video. If you take nothing away from this presentation, remember visuals and video. They will change people's minds. Pictures will define your message and should define your message. This is a picture from a project that we worked on in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We saw these kids playing on this hillside and they were having a great time. This picture doesn't lie. They were having a fantastic time running up and down, showing off, rolling down the hill. And if I were the mining company that actually owned that hill, I might put this on my annual report to show how we're respecting the people in the community and how much the community enjoy our presence. If I were an organization that decided I'd rather see the mine do something along the lines of cleaning up, I might actually show this picture, a more powerful picture, a picture that shows the actual tailing mound that these kids are playing on that's filled with toxic elements dug up from the ground in the process of mining copper and gold. And if I really wanted to go for it and tell the real story with my visual, I might actually go to the base of that tailing mound and show you the mom and 2 girls who are panning for small flecks of gold using mercury. and they're using mercury in that water, and that water is the only water source for the village where all of these children are growing up. Define your message with powerful pictures and visuals. Framing your message tells your story the way you want it to be told, and you want to frame it with visuals. Plastics makes it possible. Here's plastics. It's all about freedom. It's all about exercise. It's all about surfing and being out there in the elements, in nature, or it's not, okay? Frame it the way you want it to be told. Let visuals define your message. Here's some that aren't so good. My apologies to the city of San Francisco, but I'm really not sure how a broom is going to move anyone to want to use it. Okay, just push it. Not a bad message, but the broom itself, that picture of the broom, does not incite us to want to really do anything to save water. It's just not a very powerful picture. Here's another one from San Francisco. Jiggle it. I've shown that to a few people. They think it's funny. They think they should jiggle it. The problem is, it's not about jiggling it. It says shaking the handle won't fix the leak even if you jiggle it. It doesn't want you to jiggle it. But the takeaway for most people is, oh, that's what I need to do in order to fix the water situation. Here's one from Southern California. Don't hose me, man. Lawn dude. So this speaks to the audience that we're trying to reach. I'm wagering that this is the type of message that's going to reach young males probably in their 20s. Don't hose me, man, and lawn dude might actually impact them, but are they the ones who are the homeowners and who are watering their lawns? I would hazard a guess and say no. We're missing the audience. Here's a good example of the ugly, what you'll see all over California, or at least you did. Serious drought, help save water. You'd see this on the signs all across as you'd be driving through the Central Valley, but to the right, you'd see farm fields with water shooting all over the place, all over their crops. It was not effective. Are you odd or even? Limit sprinklers to 2 days per week. Okay? This is interesting, except that unless people know the backstory, remember, don't assume everyone understands what you're trying to say. Unless people understand the backstory of when they're supposed to water, this is just confusing. And I'm guessing a lot of people don't understand what it means. Don't always assume people understand what you're trying to say. Here's some good examples. From Texas, using your hose as a broom, you could be wasting 150 gallons a day. If you think you waste more water indoors, take a look outside. What a great visual showing just how much water we use when we water down our driveways. In Australia, no water sucks. From the mountain to the wave, our logo is water. Don't destroy what you came to enjoy. Again from Australia, save water idea number 43, shower with a friend. Australia likes humor. In the dorms in Boulder, Colorado, what'd you do last weekend? I got wasted. Okay? Saving water is important in Boulder's arid climate. Don't let your water get wasted. We know who the audience is there. Okay? That's important. Remember who your audience is. And back to Australia, animals are really powerful. Even when people don't necessarily care about other people, they care about animals. Eventually, someone will pick up your litter. If you miss the bin, you hit the bay. And then Paw Paw, Michigan. Animals are powerful. Even more powerful than just your average animal is your cute puppy. Fecal coliform bacteria machine. Scoop the poop, bag it, place it in the trash. Okay? Very powerful puppies. They make people look and they make people read. So when you choose your visuals, you want to choose powerful visuals. You want to choose visuals that tug at people's emotion. Make them feel. Make them want to do what you want them to do. If I showed you this eagle, I'm guessing you would think freedom, patriotism, liberty. These types of words are immediately conjured up by this eagle. Okay? I know what I'm going after if I decided to use this eagle. This is a different visual. This visual means a lot of different things to a lot of people. For some people, and this is true in presentations we've given across the country, it's about self-reliance, independence, and freedom. In other parts of the country, it's a threat. It's about insecurity, fear, threats to safety, and so on. You need to know what your visual means to the audience you are presenting to. If you choose powerful visuals, make sure you understand what that gun or what that eagle means to the community you're showing it to. You need to know your audience. I keep this little keychain in my pocket when I travel and give presentations on messaging to remind me how badly I could screw up, and I did. I went to a presentation where this little guy, this little stuffed animal, was part of a project to get rid of lead bullets in California. And in 6 months, the Humane Society was able to run a campaign that actually got rid of lead bullets. And I can't say that I had a feeling one way or the other about the actual campaign itself and the cause that they were after, but the fact that they were willing to take this little guy and bring him to congressional offices, or not congressional, but Senate and Assembly offices in Sacramento, and be able to walk into offices and be received extremely well, because all of their staffers couldn't wait until the Humane Society came with their next newest toy and their next newest cause. And even if they didn't accept the cause or say they were going to sign on to the bill, they took this little guy and they would bring it home to their children. And the legislator would bring it home to their children. It's very, very powerful. You can't help it. When somebody gives you something and you accept it as a gift, you feel as though you owe them. Okay, so it was really powerful for them to give this little guy's a message. Okay, and so 6 months they were able to get that legislation in place. And I went to a presentation in the middle of California in a very different area, and if I had thought about my audience, I would have thought differently, but I introduced this at the very beginning because I was talking about messaging, and this was a powerful message. And people were so angry from the very beginning when I started talking about how successful this was. I was just using it as an example, but it didn't work because I didn't know them. I hadn't stopped to think about this audience, about the fact that this audience was probably going to be filled with hunters who were really, really angry about this legislation. And I was introducing it just as a tool, but they were hearing it as an affront to their values, because as a hunter is who you are. And so they immediately turned off of me. You've got to know your audience. Okay, you have to understand when you're using visuals, when you're using tools, when you're trying to get your message across, who are you speaking to and what are they receptive to hearing? Your message has to be matched to your audience's values and morals, because our values and morals are our identity. It's who we are. These are some common values. Almost everyone in America can say that they have these values. We maintain these values. However, what these values mean to us can be very different things. So we all want family. We all want a safe family. We all want to protect our children. We all believe in family. But if I wanted to show a picture of family, I might show a picture or a video of a couple of little boys running into the kitchen. They're all dirty. They're leaving dirty footprints all over the floor and thumbprints and handprints all over the refrigerator as they throw it open and they grab some juice and they drink from the bottle and they put it back in and they run back out again, and mom's just sitting there laughing. I could show that, and some people would say, yeah, that's childhood. And other people might be saying, not in my house, because in my house, children would never do that. They are well behaved. They know they should never come into the house dirty. They know they should ask their mother before drinking juice, and they know they should never drink from the bottle, okay? So some people, if I had that visual or that video, would say, yeah, I relate to that. And somewhere in their core, they might be favorable to what I'm trying to convince them to do. Others look at it, and I've almost insulted them because that's not their idea of family. So we all have these values, but if you're going down that route of messaging, you need to understand how your audience sees those values. What do they really mean to them? So here's a question. What is water? It's more than pipes. It's more than pumps. Water is life, right? So I'm going to show you a really simple video. It's a done by a woman named Cynthia Naha, and she works for a pueblo in New Mexico. And she did this very simple, inexpensive, almost no-cost video and speaks to the values of her tribe.
This could last forever. They should have known it. This cannot last so long. And yes, they should have known when we go burn down our mother. Because if we hear from your father, you're gonna be strong. I know, only love was there. Making us come, making us home. Only love was there. They should have seen it when we were living. Our mother bird was so fresh and green. Then what we gonna give? We really what we getting, and what we sow. You be what we reap if you take it down.
Okay, that's less than a minute, costs practically nothing, and still manages to tug at specific values that resonate with her tribe: life, self-reliance, community, fairness, and faith. So it's a really powerful video. It's a really cheap video. She understands her audience, and she can resonate with her audience. Something to think about when we're thinking about doing our own videos. We don't have to be Hollywood. We don't have to be experts. Frame with visual values that tell your story. Here's a really typical video that you would more than likely see if you were in the middle of the United States. Some of you have probably seen this.
Jason's grandparents built this ranch, and we worked hard to keep it in the family. So we do our best to protect what's ours. With all the stories out there, some people were surprised that we allowed fracking on our land. But we talked with experts and learned the facts about drilling for oil and natural gas. And guess what? It's safe. Safe for our land, our water, and the air. When you know the facts, you understand why we need this now and for the future.
Learn the facts at energyfromshale.org.
Okay, so that's the story of Jason and Ann. In less than a minute, we know that they're good, hardworking people. We know that they have children. We know that they care for the land. We know pretty much their whole story. And when we listen to the visuals and the sounds, it's upbeat, it's nature preserved, it's food, family, and farm, good people, hard work, and tradition. And what it's telling you in terms of values is that fracking supports safety, family and children, security, freedom and independence, and decency and goodness. These are all values that they are tugging at. They're not even really concerned about you listening to what it has to say, okay? They just want to get you to the point with the visuals. They want to move you to that space where you're open to thinking about fracking on your land or fracking in the state. Once you actually get people to that point where they're willing to think, you can start to let the facts come in. So how do you structure your message? Here's a tale of two messages, very quick tale. So this is from Regina, Canada, and they needed to replace some infrastructure. So they had a campaign that said there's no substitute for water. There's no substitute for water. There's no substitute for water. And their subtext, your water system is our priority. Our aging water system requires major improvements to keep it running smoothly. We want to invest, or we will invest, $2 billion in our water, wastewater, and drainage system so we can maintain our city's quality of life. You can't live without water. We're making sure it's always there. This is my water system, me, I have it too. It's a shared responsibility. Remember the messages that resonate? We share the challenge together. We are investing in our quality of life. Don't ask people to pay more, ask them to invest, because that's what it is. It's an investment in our future, in our children's future. We are ensuring our safe future, okay? Shared responsibility, safety, quality of life, and investment. Really great keywords. Here's an opposite. My apologies to Cleveland. This is not a way to introduce rate increases. When the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District finally enters into a consent decree, with the US EPA this year, okay, it is likely to mean sewer rate increase of about 18%, are lying. At least when I first read it, that's what it said. I thought it was saying. They're saying it's 18%, but my gosh, look at that. It's doubling. But actually what they mean is 18% per year, okay, because of a decree with US EPA, because the federal government is making us pay. There are so many things here that are just designed to make people angry. This is not the message you want to get out in advance of your efforts to try and make a change. Now, this was several years ago, and they have actually gone ahead and made those improvements, or they're in the process of it. But this is not a great way to get your message out. Don't let somebody else tell your story. Don't let somebody else frame your message before you frame it for them. Get out ahead of your story. So there are 3 steps you can use, and messaging comes in many shapes and forms, but this is one way to frame a message. What's your problem? What's your solution? And what's your action? Many, many messages follow this same process. So if we go back to the "There's no substitute for water" campaign, when they talk about what the problem is really about, they could have said the city has an aging system. But remember, aging infrastructure doesn't really resonate as a message. Or what they really did say was, there is no substitute for water. They went into that higher space of no substitute for water. Water is life. There is no substitute for it. When they talked about the solution, they could have said, city has to pay $2 billion for the upkeep of its water system. We know that doesn't resonate. Instead, they said, you can't live without water. We're making sure it's always there. Your water system is our priority. We're making it safe, right? We're making it safe for future generations. And the action they're asking them to take, the city will have to pay $2 billion in upgrades. They could have said that, and instead, invest in our future so we can maintain our quality of life. Quality of life is a term that everyone can relate to, and you don't have to define it. It's a great term. Here's another quick video about an entity named the Troy Library, and this is true, who had to reframe their problem as a result of a pushback. Okay? This is an instant where they thought everyone would get it. They didn't. Okay. They used a problem-solution action, and this was a true story, by the way. Okay? The Troy Library versus the Tea Party. The problem, Troy Library just came out and said they need money because that's a problem everyone understands and everybody values libraries, right? Tea Party understood it differently. They want to take your money. They want to raise your taxes. They reframed the message on the library. The library was stuck. The library had to do something. They had to reframe their solution. Vote to close the library and attend the book burning. The Tea Party, they stuck with what they got because they're pretty successful at it. Don't let them raise your taxes. And the action? Vote no on a tax increase. A vote against the library is like a vote to burn books. Vote yes, okay? Don't give up. You can change your message and change the result and the solution. Here's some other examples. Problem. What goes in the ocean goes in you. Solution. Rise above plastics. Action. Go to their website. That's an okay action. Control the debate. Define your problem. Are you drowning? Are your water bills drowning you? Yes, they are. Solution. We must bring the full power of our city to fight the water districts, prevent the water districts from dictating our quality of life. Action. Vote for him. He won. People act based on their values and morals. When you get your message there, repeat, 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 and make sure that you're hitting all elements of your audience. So remember this one from the Surfrider Foundation, what goes in the ocean goes in you. You are what you eat. You are trash. What goes in the ocean goes in you. Catch of the Day campaign, South Padre Island, Texas. Catch of the Day campaign, Galveston Beach, Texas. And Newport Beach, California. Very powerful repetition, reaching out to different audiences. This was used in New Jersey and I believe in Pennsylvania and a couple of other states. If you litter in the street, you might as well litter in the river. When you're washing your car in the driveway, remember you're not just washing your car in the driveway. When your car is leaking oil in the street, remember it's not just leaking oil on the street. When you're fertilizing the lawn, remember you're not just fertilizing the lawn. When your pet goes on the lawn, remember it doesn't just go on the lawn. Okay? Very popular, very powerful, and you can put your own pictures. You can make your own set of posters that basically reflect your state, your area, your community. And here's the Denver Multimedia Campaign. From 2006 to 2016, they've been at this, and it's been very successful. They have installations. How much water is wasted by a running toilet in 3 months? Hint, you're looking at it. How much water you give your lawn, how much it really needs. Grass is dumb, water 2 minutes less. Your lawn won't notice. Use only what you need. Why trash an old billboard when you can reuse it? Waste is out. Water less. Use only what you need. Trees, the official men's room of summer 2013. Use even less. The official sprinkler of summer 2013. Use even less. And the 2016 Day Without Water. Nothing replaces water. Please don't waste it. They've had running toilets at football games where the announcers are screaming, "Stop running toilets! Stop running toilets!" as they run across the field. And of course they have video. See what you can use. And use videos. Always think about using videos. And never make them longer than 2 minutes. Shorter is even better. Why? Because most people won't watch beyond 2 minutes. And please don't make videos of talking heads because nobody wants to see that. There's also another reason why you use videos. 55% of millennials watch video several times a day. This is your upcoming generation. This is your generation that at the moment, the high-end age is 35. They're coming up right behind you, okay? They're the biggest in history. 92 million millennials, 61 million Gen X's, and 77 million baby boomers. Use videos. They watch them. They expect them. They respond to them. And so I'm going to play just a little piece of this video and another video designed for a different audience with the same song, just to give you a reminder, you've got to make your video, your visuals fit your audience. So that's about a 2-minute video. If I were doing this in person, I'd probably show you the whole thing. It's very much geared towards a young, youthful audience, a hip-hop audience. The song itself was very popular at one point and has been reworded to attract a specific audience. And they knew who was being responsible for a lot of the dog waste. Well, Wichita liked it as well, but Wichita needed to change it to fit their audience. So we're just going to watch a few seconds of this so you get a flavor for how messages can be changed depending on the audience you need to reach. Okay. You can find both of those on YouTube. You can find all these videos on YouTube. Look up Dog Doogity and put in either Seattle or Wichita and you'll find either one. And finally, let your imagination go. Have fun with this. Don't be afraid of a little bit of emotion to reach people's values so you can make the changes that you need to make and reach the people you need to reach. And that's it for today. If anyone needs any questions, wants to ask me any questions offline, that's my email address. And Savannah, I am finished.
All right. Thank you so much, Sarah. So,
You're welcome.
and there is one quick question about, so earlier in your presentation, you went over some polls that were located regionally in the South. What polls went well in the South?
You know what? I'm going to point them to basically the report itself that they can take a look at. And can you still hear me? Because it's telling me an application error occurred.
Yep, we can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay, I'm going to try and do nothing bad. Let me get, okay, so I don't want to switch screens, but if they go to Value of Water National Poll 2016, if they Google that, Value of Water National Poll 2016, okay, they'll get a lot more information on messages, what polled the best where, and East, South, Midwest, and so on, as well as people's willingness to pay and other nice little tidbits. So Value of Water National Poll 2016. Check it out. It's actually a really nice resource.
Wonderful. And I'll include that Google search in the follow-up email for all the attendees.
Great.
Well, there's no more questions coming in, so I'll take this time now to thank you, Sarah, for providing an in-depth look at how to, frame messaging water to your stakeholders. And I want to thank all the attendees that joined us today. And I'll throw it back to you, Sarah, for any additional closing comments.
Closing comments is just let your imagination run free, have fun with it, enjoy messaging, go for it, and try and change people's minds. Good luck.
All right, wonderful. Have a great rest of the day, everybody, and thanks for joining us today.